So this video, we're talking about how to stay porn-free during lockdown. And there's going to be kind of 6 main steps, tips, whatever you want to call them, that we're going to cover. And actually, we're going to do that over 3 videos. So we're going to do 2 in this video, and then we'll have 2 other videos as well. However, if you want to know right from the start what all 6 steps are, then if you click on this link, then you can download a free PDF with all 6 things in. I'm going to unpack it in a bit more detail in these videos, but if you want to jump ahead, you want to read all 6 things, then make sure you download that PDF. So, what are some of the steps? What are some of the things that we need to be bearing in mind if we want to stay porn-free during lockdown? Well, the first one is connection. Connection. Now, the truth is that that isolation is normally something you try to avoid. If you're trying to stay free from porn, being on your own, particularly on your own with a computer or a phone in your room late at night or something, that's just a danger zone. That is just a trigger for often, regrettable decisions and relapse or whatever it is. And so this is a challenging time, right? This is a time where maybe you're being forced to be on your own a whole lot more than you would want to be. And so that's why you've got to be intentional. You've got to really decide to connect and make an effort to connect. Now, this is lockdown number 2. This is while I'm recording this here in the UK. We're in our 2nd lockdown. And so maybe you've already learned the importance of this from your first lockdown, but it's still really important to remind ourselves how essential connection is. So here's a couple of things to do which are going to help you with connection. First thing is reach out and be rigorously honest with somebody during this time. So I'm not just talking about, the kind of catch-up call or Zoom or whatever. We'll mention that in a minute. But decide now, who are you going to be really dangerously honest with during this next time of lockdown? Pick a person. Maybe it's somebody who already you have some accountability with. Maybe it's someone who you already knows that you battle a little bit with pornography. But right now, maybe today, as soon as you finish watching this video, just text them and simply say, look, lockdown is going to be a time where I'm going to feel more vulnerable and when it comes to my porn use. Can you be looking out for me? Can you be checking in with me? One of the things that you might want to do is simply commit to that person that you're going to connect every day. Maybe simply it's sending them a thumbs up emoji each day if you were able to be porn free the day before. And if you haven't, then it's a thumbs down. Maybe they can just give you a call, make sure that you're not kind of like gonna start feeling and full of shame and self-hate and stuff like that. Remind you of who you are and what you want to do and who you want to be. So having that person who you can be that honest with, even if it's just a short text every day, is really important in this time. So be intentional about that. Acknowledge this is a vulnerable time. This is a tricky time for all of us. It's not weakness to say, I'm going to need some extra help, some extra connection, some extra accountability during this time. Second thing is actually just to keep that social stuff going in your life as well. Again, I don't know about you, but when I'm feeling low, I often actually retreat from people. I kind of like the idea of a Zoom call or a, online pub quiz or whatever it is. It just feels hard. I'm just like, oh man, I just want to kind of go into my little shell and just keep away really from people. But if you're struggling with porn, that is not going to help you right now, because in those dark times and dark moments and solitude moments, that's when you are going to feel that voice and that pull and power of porn. And so even though you might not feel like it right now, make a point of reaching out to your friends and hanging out with your friends. do the Zoom calls, do the quizzes online, do the stuff where you have dinner with somebody where you're both eating food, or a group of you are eating food all at the same time and chatting as if you were out in a restaurant. I know it feels a little bit kind of not twee, but kind of artificial that you're doing these things. But my experience is, even though I don't look forward to it, I'm sort of throughout the day, I'm going, oh gosh, we're doing that tonight, aren't we? The truth is, when it happens, it's so good. It just actually really does help me. It helps my mental health. It helps me stay positive. It reminds me of the fact that I'm connected. So I would really recommend, again, that you don't let those things slip. You don't let those things go, because they're really important. Third thing is this: if you're struggling to find a group of people, or even a person who you can connect with, who knows about your porn use and your porn problem, then I would highly recommend maybe you join one of our Click to Kick groups. Click to Kick is our online program that is basically a Zoom call for 8 weeks. We have a facilitator who helps you work through some materials which are really good and make a big difference. But actually a huge part of it is just being in a group with other people who are in the same boat as you. Throughout the week, you're WhatsApping and encouraging each other. And if you've not joined a group like that, you've never experienced a group like that, let me tell you, that kind of connection with people who know what it feels like, it can be literally life-changing for people. So check out Click to Kick if you've not found out about that before. That might be something you want to look at. So that's tip 1, connection. Tip 2 is habits. Basically what this is about is try and think about what are the healthy habits and routines and rhythms that you need to put in place during lockdown. One of the things that easily happens in lockdown is that because there's some changes, maybe you're not commuting to work anymore and you've got to work from home, it can be so easy just to kind of basically leave your alarm for an extra hour, get up, brush your teeth, kind of, put a t-shirt on, but leave your pajama bottoms on and sit in that staff call over Zoom at 9 o'clock. But instead of doing that, why don't you get up the time you normally get up when you're not in lockdown, and give yourself a bit of extra time in the morning to maybe just think about your day. Maybe if you want to meditate or pray or journal, or maybe simply just, take a bit of a breath, go outside, go for a walk, do some things that you would do at the beginning of the day. Normally when you're sitting on a bus or in a car commuting, you could be doing something really positive and healthy actually. So rather than seeing it as a restriction, here's an opportunity to see that there's maybe some extra margin in your day that you can start to do some healthy things that you want to do. There's a great book called Atomic Habits, and there's a link down in the description if you want to check it out. But one of the things it talks about is how do we build healthy habits and how do we break unhealthy ones. But one of the things it talks about is simply this, start small, but start now. So often we kind of make big plans for our lives, but often like quit porn. But often it can just start with small things, whether they're positive things or just starting small. Okay, I'm going to just not do that. I'm not going to do that thing, which might be I'm not going to take my phone to my bed at night. I'm just going to leave my phone downstairs in the kitchen or whatever it is, and that's the thing I'm going to start doing. And it's a small thing, because you could look at porn at other times in the day, but you're going to just start with that small achievable thing. I'm going to leave my phone downstairs when I go to bed at night. Or maybe it's starting something healthy. I'm going to just start by getting up at the same time and going for a walk. And that's something small that I can do. But here's one of the things it talks about in the book. It talks about the idea of imagine 2 versions of yourself. The person you kind of really want to be, that better you, and the person that you really hope you don't become. Imagine that person, even just that person in a year's time. We're still going to be struggling with, no doubt, some implications of COVID in a year. But who do you want to be in a year? How do you want to be living? How do you want to be viewing and coping with life? So imagine what that better person looks like. And also imagine the person who's just kind of basically let go, spiraled in their porn use. That's the person you don't want to be, right? So here's what he's talking about in the book. He talks about the idea that if they're like two candidates, the better you and the less good you, if they're two candidates in some kind of political campaign or political race, we've just had the presidential election right now, if there's better you versus worse you, every little thing that you do, every decision you make, every healthy habit you kind of do is a vote for the better person. And every time you mess up, every time you make a mistake, it's a vote for maybe that lesser person. But here's the point. It's all about the majority vote wins. So actually, yeah, you might make some mistakes. You might not get it right every day and every time. But the more you do, even little things that are casting a vote towards that better person, if you eat healthily, if you put some good routines in your life, if you do that thing we talked about in the first step of connecting with someone, being dangerously honest with somebody, these are all positive votes towards that better person. So that's what we're going to leave as our second tip for this video. More tips, more steps coming up in a few more videos. Make sure, as I say, you subscribe. Make sure that you know when those new videos are coming. They're going to be kind of one a week probably. And if you want to download that PDF, make sure you do that as well. But for this week, think about connecting and think about forming some healthy habits and routines and start voting for that better you. Thanks a lot. See you soon.